Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Skin Talk Tuesday podcast. Hi, Nick. How
Hi.
are you?
I am basking in the glory of what is probably one of the best falls that I've seen in New York in 25 years.
It's really so nice. No, I know. And
It just
it's just,
naturally
it
lifts your
keeps getting
spirit.
better. No, it's so true. It's been so nice. Even though I am a little bit like, I was actually thinking about this on the way here, like exactly what to wear. I don't know because I was
Mm-hmm.
even like kind of warm. Like I really now want, I want to start wearing my jeans. I want to start wearing like a button down, like
Yep.
maybe even a sweater, And I
But the
don't
weather is
know.
all over the place
I
right now.
don't
It's
know. So
like,
it's
do I put away my flip-flops? Do I not?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. We were even commenting earlier how we kind of like are matching with our tops,
Mm-hmm.
which I
Mm-hmm.
love, obviously. It's so funny because I am actually really trying, as you guys know, I'm like in this like mini glow up series, I suppose, before November. And I am really trying to hone in on that in my wardrobe as well.
Yeah.
Just trying to be like a little bit more like, what is my style?
Yep.
Like what
Yep.
do I want to wear? So I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful. So I feel like when I got dressed this morning, if you're watching on video, like this is a very merry outfit,
Oh,
which
it
I like.
is. It
Yeah.
is. If I were to like categorize your look,
Uh-huh.
that sort of look with, or, with a blazer or kind of like buttoned up,
Yeah.
but still with a casual vibe, like not
Yes.
completely.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Well, I follow this girl, the stylist, Allison Bornstein, and she has this theory of defining your style in 3 words.
Okay.
So 3 simple words, like, and they should be simple, but like specific.
Yep.
And whenever you're like shopping or going through your closet or anything like that, you should narrow everything through those 3 words. And I feel like
Okay.
over the summer, like the summer
How
style
do
is
you
just like
find
not my
those?
thing.
Are there boundaries or like what are 3 words?
Just like three
Like,
words that you would describe your style as. Like I feel like
okay.
yours would be like honestly Polynesian would be like or a word like that
Yeah.
would be kind of like a way to describe your style, I
Yeah.
think.
Like flowery,
Yes,
flowy.
flowy, right?
Yep.
Um, and then whenever you're like shopping or like I said, going through your closet or anything, go through and even just like putting an outfit together, like, does this fit my 3 words? Because I feel
Okay.
like coming off of the summer, I seriously was like, I don't know who I am. Like, I don't know what my style is. Like, I seriously was like, what do I wear? Because in the summer, it's kind of a free for all.
But you know why it's really important? I saw this post on social media, and because we're all viewing the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many areas, including
Totally.
fashion, where everyone is looking the same.
Everybody looks the same. No, it's so true.
And they were doing this point,
Mm-hmm.
like they were taking photos on the subway, and everybody's got like the same shoes on,
Yep.
the same top, the same this, the same that.
Yep.
And so I do feel if you really think about who you are
Mm-hmm.
and try to look at your choices through that lens,
Mm-hmm.
you are capturing your personality rather than just following a trend.
No, it's so true. I mean, there is that whole theory that because of social media and everything, nobody has personal style anymore, which is basically like what you're saying of like nobody, we're all kind of dressing the same,
But
especially
you
like,
notice it even
yeah, in like real life,
and
I think you
everything,
notice.
yeah.
Yeah. And even in like my generation, I suppose, of especially like girls who love to dress up or like whatever, we really do wear the same things.
But it's because we're all being
We're
fed the
all
same
being fed the
stuff.
same stuff. Yeah.
I'm even noticing it globally, like when you travel to different
Mm-hmm.
areas, there's not that distinction. When I was younger, before social media,
Mm-hmm.
there was a real distinction between the UK, New
Yes.
Zealand, America,
Yeah.
Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Now I kind of feel like the major cities, you really could be, when you're in any of
Right.
them, you could be
Yeah. It's
anywhere.
just like the
They're all
globalization,
kind
I
of the same.
suppose, and
Yeah.
social media and just the internet has allowed us to do that. So, anyways, I love that we're both, I feel like we're looking very similar, but also like within our 3 words, like within that funnel.
That's a good point. I
Oh, I
didn't,
love.
yeah, because I was when we were first walked in, I'm like, oh, we were wearing the same thing, but to your point, we look very different.
Exactly. See, we
Yeah,
have personal style.
love.
Love. Well, PTHQ is really just a
You
poppin'
are
place these days.
popping.
We are just there's so many exciting things happening. We just released our meditation series. So if you haven't listened, we had Megan Nabrowski, who has been on our podcast before. She did a meditation series with us, which we're so grateful for. I think one of them is like 17 minutes of future self meditation. a morning meditation, and then there will be a self-love meditation. And it's all centered around like visualizing yourself with clear skin and just embodying yourself in that, mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love it. I know that you liked it too, which I'm so happy
I'm
about.
beyond
Yeah.
like it makes me teary because it is the being able to put these sorts of things out. It's kind of like what you were talking about fashion choices and
Mhm.
your 3 words.
Mhm.
Who is Pacific Touch and what do we want to be in terms of our legacy in the skin healing community?
Yep.
Mindset work and helping people strengthen that is so important to me. But it's
Yes.
very hard to like when you're thinking about how do I do that outside of the treatment room. I
Mhm.
know I have a very good ability one-on-one to
Mhm.
help people, but how do we harness that type of thinking
Right.
and help the community in a big
Yep.
way? And Megan's meditation blew my mind figuratively and literally. Like
Oh, good. I'm
I
so
love
glad.
it.
Yeah, I felt like a little like tech nerd putting it together. Like I added the music and just editing
Loved
everything.
it.
Like it really came together so nicely. So I know I will be adding that into my daily routine, and especially like under LED. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's such a good way to start your morning. I'm really trying to, get back into some sort of like meditation and journaling practice. You know what's really been inspiring me about that?
Who?
Elizabeth
I,
Endress.
I I actually, as I said who, I knew you were going to say
Yeah,
because she is very big
right. Well,
on
she's
that
been posting
moving.
how like, and Elizabeth she has her podcast, the Wellness Process podcast, and she's also, your OG PT fan person. And she's definitely an expander for me. And just like she posts about it a lot of how transformative it's been for her. And I'm like, you know what? If she can do it, like I can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Now she has this whole like thing where she's on like day, 250, and I'm like, okay. I'm like -1 at this point, but
But
it's just
you're,
the intention.
I was just going to say, if you're thinking about it, if you're about to do it, or when you do it, you'll be on your way.
Yeah.
But it's very much like a lot of the things that we teach at PT. The small, simple things are sometimes discounted, and people don't realize how powerful it is.
Mhm.
Like you will, how is a meditation going to help my skin when I'm
Right.
treating water
Yeah, yeah,
or,
yeah.
journaling? Like,
Yeah.
can't I just think about the stuff? Why do I have to sit down and write
Yep.
it out? And
Mhm.
time and time again, I mean, it's science backed at this
I
point.
know.
It's so powerful for the
Yeah.
mind.
It's so true. Like the unblocking too, especially of those like subconscious beliefs. Like
Mhm.
I totally see how all of that can come together. So
And I see it
I'm
in the treatment
excited
room,
about
and
it.
I've said it in a multitude of different ways, but I'm always able to kind of see in people's energy
Mhm.
when they're in healing mode.
Mhm.
And I do think that mindset drives everything, and
Yeah.
your focus and what you're focusing on
Right.
is what you will get back from the universe.
Yeah.
So,
Especially in the way that you heal skin, like with
yeah,
your
we.
philosophy and everything.
We all play a part.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one thing we're going to go all over the place, I
I
think, in
know.
this podcast. I can feel it already. But one of the things that I was thinking about when I was away this summer is not only how big Pacific Touch has become in terms of all the different staff and the fact that it runs without me, but also the role that every single person plays
I think about that
in
a lot too.
healing.
Yeah.
I really do. And I
Yeah.
know, like, people know you, they love connecting with you from the back end.
Uh-huh.
Your story gives people hope. You're in it. Anna Lee, like all of us together make this place run.
Yeah.
And we all chip in too, even with the ideas and things that,
Right.
like the meditation
Yep.
series, the customized candles, the
Mhm.
affirmation cards, all of the different little things that make Pacific Touch what it is now
Mhm.
is because of us as a team.
It's so true. Chips become chunks. I
Yeah.
feel like that's one of our go-to phrases at
Yep.
PTHQ.
It's a Maryism.
It's
It's
yep,
one of my
it's
Maryisms
one of my
that pops
faves
into my
too.
head.
Yeah, yeah. Well, kind of I feel like the topic today is kind of coinciding a little bit, especially with like the fashion and like, trends, I suppose, and things that come up just like on social media and in our industry. And I guess like, you know, retail at large is
Mm-hmm.
comedogenicity. The hot button word comedogenic.
It's
It
hot at the
is
moment.
right. Well, it's especially a hot button topic, I feel, in our PTHQ because I feel like that's something that, not that you and I like, we don't like go back and forth on it ever because, like, you know, I understand what it is and why it's so important in the, you know, process of skin healing, but there's just so many products out there and so many things to try, and I just am
I
like,
know.
ugh, like, okay, yeah, but I also want to try the Rhode blush.
Yep. Yeah.
So we're gonna really dissect, you know, comedogenicity. What does it mean? Why it's so important to monitor and take care when you are going through these healing phases and even beyond.
Okay.
And we need your like mama bear energy. So I hope
I know,
that you
but
can like,
you're not going to like
I know,
everything that I
I know,
say.
but I've already heard
I
it.
want,
So
okay, listeners, I need to tell you, when she's in the treatment room and my client, Mary does give me pushback on not being able to use certain makeup
I'm
products.
much
And
better
oh, you're
now.
so much,
I'm much better now.
you've really turned a corner on
Yeah.
this. But I remember there was a time where you definitely put your, you know, kind of foot down and were like, I just want to be able to live my life like everybody else and try the trends. And I understand, I do
Yeah.
understand it.
No, I know. Now when you say
And
it
that's
back,
why
I'm
it's
like, I sound
important.
so whiny, but
No,
it's so true.
no, but it's true. I
yeah.
mean, that is one of the pain points of being acne prone, is feeling like, why do I have to be different? Because I
Mhm.
think that is the first thing that we need to talk about with comedogenicity. City. That's going to be one of those words.
Let's just say comedogenic.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what we're talking about.
So the one of the most important things to understand is that it affects everybody differently, and acne prone people versus people that aren't acne prone, you know, have a more of a relationship with its importance.
Mhm.
Like a person that is not acne prone with a strong barrier and no problem with inflammation in their system is not going to have any issue. They could smear
Yeah.
lard on their faces and they'll be fine. And we all have those friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I remember when I was growing up and I had like full blown acne,
Right.
face, chest, back.
Yep.
I had friends who didn't wash
Could
their
wear
makeup
anything.
off, could
Yep.
wear anything, probably didn't even use skincare
Yeah.
and were fine.
Yep.
So, you know, whether or not a product is comedogenic really relates more to our community than
Mhm.
someone who's not acne prone. Because one of the things that I get on social media all the time is when we talk back and forth about this is, well, why are companies allowed to put comedogenic
That's actually a question I
ingredients?
have for you.
Okay.
Right. So let's just get into it
Okay.
because that's
Yeah.
actually a really good question because
Take us
like
back,
I'm
Mary.
let's like
Reel
let's
us in and go
yeah,
back to the
I
beginning.
knew you were we have a lot to chat about.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
What do you want to know?
Okay, so it's the word that nobody can say. Comedogenicity, comedogenic, non-comedogenic, blah blah blah.
Yep.
What does comedogenic mean?
I mean, basically, it means the likelihood of whether or not something is going to clog a pore.
Mhm.
That's it. So it was something that I think it was the 70s that they were
I
testing
think it was
it.
like 1979. I
Yeah.
did my research.
Okay.
I came
Ooh.
prepared. Yeah.
And, you know, they tested ingredients or products, really, ingredients on rabbit ears.
Mhm.
And depending on the reaction, different ingredients were given different ratings from 1 to 5.
Okay.
But if you think of think of the analogy of like a kitchen sink, okay? If you were pouring water down the pipes, fine, non-comedogenic.
Mhm.
If you start pouring coconut oil or butter or jamming bits of food down your sink,
Mhm.
over time, that is going to clog and block your sink. Same idea
course.
with products. There are products that are made up of different ingredients that have different qualities or sit on the skin in a different way, like oil, waxes, butters, emulsifiers. So some things are just more likely to block a pore,
Mhm.
and they have this crude rating of 1 to 5. One
Well,
being,
that's where the comedogenic scale comes
yeah,
in. That was like kind of when this first whole idea started.
yeah.
Okay.
It is very flawed, by the way, and I think a lot of
Yeah.
people
It's
know
not a perfect
this.
science.
Oh, you know, for obvious things, like first of all, we're not rabbits,
Mhm.
so
Well, because
like testing on rabbit ears, like our skin, we react. I think we have a slower response than a rabbit
Well,
ears
because
to
like the initial
things.
test that did this whole comedogenic scale
Yep.
was tested on rabbit ears, which to
Yep.
your point, rabbits have much more sensitive skin barriers than
Totally.
humans.
And they also, in that original testing, they tested the ingredients at a higher percentage than what they are sometimes in formulations. Even when they did, they went on to test on actual human skin, but they used backs and male clients.
Oh.
And there is a little bit of a difference in sebaceous activity
Yeah.
because of hormones and a whole lot of different
Which is
things.
so annoying because like us girls, for the most part, are the ones wearing the makeup.
Totally. And the thing is too, is it's on your face.
Yeah.
It's not on your back.
Yeah.
So again, very problematic in terms of the testing. And most people in the industry know it. And there's a lot of contention. There's a lot of different opinions about how valid it is, how not valid it is. I have my opinion. I'm sure you'll ask me the question about that. But yeah, I mean, that's the basic point, that something being comedogenic really is just looking at whether or not it will block a pore.
So what makes an ingredient pore clogging? Like what about its makeup?
It's so it'll be like its composition. So some things, like oils or things that are solid at room temperature, like your, coconut oil is a good example of that. A lot waxes and butters, whether or not they absorb into the skin or if they just sit on top of the skin, how they interact with our own sebum. Like some mix in a little too well with our own sebum, and then we'll kind of make it even thicker and stickier. Because I think what's important to know for acne prone people, and this is where the comedogenic argument is important, is that we have a different relationship with inflammation, which affects the rate at which our skin cells turn over and shed. So we already, without a comedogenic ingredient, we have a tendency to clog.
Yeah.
So our drain is not completely smooth at all times.
Yeah.
So add on top of that ingredients that are a little cloggy,
so
then
like
you have
even
an issue.
things in the environment or like, natural sweat or something, like our skin is already so prone to clogging. So like adding on a pore clogging ingredient product or whatever just like adds into that.
Exactly. We have a higher likelihood. And because we have this different relationship with inflammation, and to an extent this is genetic, meaning that is just our genetic, the cards that we were dealt, and we're always going to have to be aware of that. It can go up and down over time, meaning that there will be different points in your life where your systemic inflammation for lots of different reasons is just higher. So your reaction to comedogenic ingredients that cause inflammation or block will be higher at that time. Take me, for instance. Me at 25, I was a lot more reactive and needed to be a lot more careful than me at 52.
Yeah.
But it's still possible for me to get clogged pores.
Right.
Not as
like
much. I don't have to pay as much attention. But it's still.
Is that just because the skin gets stronger? Like, especially the more you do to like support your barrier?
It's a mix of a lot of things. Like my hormones are not as ragey now as what they were back in the day. I use and have been using high quality, anti-inflammatory products for what is decades now. I don't do the hot, sweaty workouts that I used to do when I was flaring up all the time. There's a lot of different reasons.
Well, I think
why
that's another question that we've gotten before is if you've been using a product for years. I think a lot of the estheticians see this of like using this concealer or foundation or whatever, and it's never giving you an issue. Like, why is it happening now? And I guess you've answered that, but
so there's a few different ways that we can look at this. when people come in to see us, often they have extremely complex cases. And by this, I mean they're people where they've either had to be on harsh acne supplements to keep them clear
Mm-hmm.
and are never able to be clear off supplements. Like the minute
Okay.
they go off, they flare up.
Uh-huh.
They've usually been battling for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
It's pretty chronic. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just on and on. So when they come in, especially if they've chosen to heal their skin without suppressants, we have to really help the skin by eliminating as many potential irritants as possible. And this is the thing, you know how there's that thing on social media like, if I didn't want to hurt your feelings, I would tell
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
So everybody listening right now, including you, if I didn't want to hurt your feelings, I would let you know that you're not able to tell exactly what's breaking your skin out.
Yeah.
Like often when people think that things aren't an issue or the reverse, they think that something is the thing that's happening and they pinpoint it to one specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're not able to know that.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many microcomedones take upwards of 90 days to even form. So, you know, what you're seeing on your face may not be in a direct correlation. Or, you know, when you were using that thing for years, but you were on suppressants, there was something artificial that
Mm-hmm.
was blocking
Right.
the
Right.
irritation. But now that you're either not on it
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, what I was saying too, even just about different times in your life, you know, you could be not in a stressful job and living in a city where the water is more conducive for your
Mm-hmm.
skin and in a happier place. And that product that you use that's kind of, you know, a little problematic might be
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you move to a crazy city, you're in a, you
Yeah.
know, tumultuous relationship and a stressful job. That product that does have the ingredients that's irritating your
Mm-hmm.
pore could then kick in.
Mm. Yeah, I think that that's where your drain example is good because when you're
Yeah.
talking, I'm thinking of that of like at some points in your life, if you do have like a stressful job or like,
Yeah.
going through hormonal changes or something like that, like those are adding to like the clogging of your drain. So then
Yeah.
adding on another pore
Exactly.
clogging ingredient, like that's why
Exactly.
it's making it like even worse.
Exactly, because you're
Obviously,
doing
like the
2
suppressant,
things.
right? Yeah, and I mean your suppressant example is great too with if you're going through suppressants for so long, then like, yeah, it's the product isn't probably going to be the thing that's breaking you out. But if you
Not at
take those
all.
out,
Yeah.
right, then, you kind of have to think about that.
When I was on Accutane and I was, you know, I
Hmm.
went on it a few times, I kid you not, I could literally smear my face. It was
Hmm. I
so
mean, you probably would just
dry
wear like
and
Aquaphor, which
oh,
Aquaphor is incredibly pore
anything. Yeah,
clogging. People don't
anything.
know
It
that.
really didn't matter because
Yep.
you literally shut down
Hmm.
your sebaceous activity completely. So
Right.
it's taken
Yeah.
something artificially out of the equation that leads to a pimple.
Hmm.
And so, you know, you don't have to factor in
Hmm.
those issues,
Hmm.
but it's I mean, obviously, it's not a long-term solution,
Right. Yeah.
and
Especially for a lot of
you
people.
pay later.
Yeah, so
Mm.
true. Well, let's kind of go back to the role that checking ingredients and, monitoring the pore clogging ingredients in like your products play in healing with the PT method. So I know it's obviously one of the first things if you come to PT, you get this whole list of,
Yeah,
things to monitor and things to look for.
it's
And on
overwhelming.
it's
It
very
really is.
overwhelming, but on it is going through hair care, makeup,
Mhm.
skincare, like everything
Yeah.
to just take out pore clogging ingredients of the equation. But can you expand more on like why you think it's so important and then why we do put such an emphasis on checking your products?
So even though the comedogenic scale and the history of how it came about is problematic, it still gives us something to work with.
Hmm.
And most people will accept that there are some ingredients that are more pore clogging than others. When you are using the PT method, because you're not using suppressants, like I can't even really explain the miracle that it is that people, after putting in a lot of work, actually reset their systems and get clear without suppressants.
Hmm.
It's hard work
Hmm.
because you're not using anything artificial
Hmm.
to, you know, acne is multifactorial. There's a whole lot of different things going on.
Hmm.
And so because of that, for most of it, I mean, we have a chunk of clients that come in still using suppressants, and we're not anti, like that is fine. They may
Mhm.
get different results from
Mhm.
our other clients in terms of long-term
Mhm.
clarity, and it's a different journey. But if a typical PT person is usually someone who doesn't want to use suppressants,
Mhm.
and they're either coming off them or they've never used them, not interested, and so that they don't have any extra support.
Mhm.
So, in addition to putting in actual products that are dealing with the acne, the first thing that we want to do for people is to help them. It's almost like a spring clean of the environment and
Mhm.
help them clear as many of the unnecessary irritants as possible.
Mhm.
So, one of the easiest things to do is to do skincare, hair care, and makeup,
Mhm.
because what you're putting on your face 60 times a month, regardless of how good the products are that are
Mhm.
dealing with the acne,
Mhm.
it's not going to override that.
Okay.
Right? So
Yeah.
you're almost sabotaging. It's a big fat waste of time
Okay.
if you're also using something super pore clogging, because we're not using anything harsh that's blocking anything.
Mhm.
It's working with the skin to get it stronger. It is bringing down inflammation, but if you're adding inflammation daily,
Mhm.
then you're not going to get clear. We can deal with skincare in a second, but
Mhm.
let's talk about hair care and makeup.
Mhm.
People that are formulating hair care and makeup, like let's start with hair. The big things with hair is you want to decrease frizz, you want to straighten, you
Mhm.
want to shiny, glossy. What types of ingredients do those things? Thick,
Yep.
glossy. It's
Mhm.
going to be like definitely more the likelihood of it being pore clogging
Mhm.
is going to be higher.
Yeah.
Those products are depositing onto your pillowcase and straight onto your face.
Yeah.
When you're working out and getting warm, or even just on a warm day like this and a little sweaty, it will travel. People that are
Yeah.
getting the breakouts
Yeah, like
all
on the
along here,
hairline. Mhm.
hair product mixed with sebum.
Mhm.
The same thing with makeup. And I will say that I've noticed, say, in, the last 20 years for sure, with the introduction of contouring
Mhm.
and like all of the different things that
Yeah.
happen, those are all creamy,
Yeah.
thick, waxy
Mhm.
substances that are going all over people's faces.
Mhm.
And no doubt that most of those are pore clogging. It's
Yeah.
very hard to find, as you know, like we have really the search
Don't need to
to
tell me, the
find
search is gnarly.
good
Mhm.
makeup that gets you, a similar
Yeah.
result. Because this is the grief, I think, in the healing part of acne, is
Mhm.
there does need to be some acceptance
Mhm.
that you need to stop doing certain things for a period, at
Mhm.
least until you get clear. Oh,
Mhm.
because that's what I was going to say. Sorry. When I was talking to you about why we use, this tool
Yep.
and like clearing the playing field, some of the things that you've been using for a long time that you think may not have been giving you a problem may not be giving you a problem, but we
Uh-huh.
don't know.
Right.
And so to know for sure, like I've had plenty of examples. Jamie is one. I'm going to make you listen to the
Jamie Warwick. Yep.
podcast.
Yeah.
Um, I had a client, Jamie, who was really married to her cleanser, and she did everything else that I said. And we got her, she
Mhm.
was making progress, but she wasn't over the finish line.
Mhm.
And she did check the cleanser, but I don't think that she checked it thoroughly, and she missed a couple of
Mhm.
cloggers. When she finally switched that, she got completely clear.
I think Michelle had a very similar situation.
Yeah. And it really is like in your head, you think like, what can this little thing, like
Right.
really, is
Yeah.
it this?
Right.
And sometimes it is. So I'm kind of like just shelve your favorite blush, whatever it is for now,
Yeah.
get clear,
Mhm.
and then reintroduce it when you're fully clear and you've been clear for a good 6 months and
Mhm.
your skin is strong,
Yeah.
you're really in the rock and roll of clarity,
Yep.
then reintroduce that one thing and see. And then you'll
Yeah.
really know.
Right.
Because when you are in full blown active acne and you are gambling, really is what
Mhm.
it is.
Mhm.
If you're
It's kinda like
using
firing at
things,
all
yeah,
cylinders. Mhm.
because it's not easy. And that's why, when I was saying that the average person can't tell exactly what is going on,
Mhm.
even as specialists, there are so many different, we're using education and educated, it's guesswork in the sense that you do push people out to get
Mhm.
testing for certain things in particular.
Mhm.
But what makes it very difficult in an acne healing journey is there's a spectrum of how acneic people are.
That's my next question.
Okay.
I feel like we're just like flowing
Like,
so great in
good,
this episode
good.
because my next question was, what is the difference between comedogenic and another hard word to say, acneic? And that's something that I don't think a lot of like I never knew that until coming to work here. Like I didn't know what
Yeah,
acneic meant.
yeah.
So if you can explain like the difference and why it's important to like monitor the two within the journey.
Okay. So comedogenic is whether or not an ingredient is pore clogging,
Mhm.
like going to clog the pore. Acneic is how irritating something is. And if your follicle gets irritated and spits out enough inflammation, it
Mhm.
will cause a breakout from that.
Okay.
So think of it like SLS in detergent
Yep.
is irritation. It's not pore clogging. It's an
Oh.
acneic response because of the chemical. And some people, are highly sensitive. It's your more people that are sensitive and acne prone or get very inflamed breakouts, very sort of like very red, hot, respond to sweat.
Uh-huh.
That's all sweat is
Yeah.
an acneic response. It's the follicle getting irritated
Okay.
and swelling,
Uh-huh.
getting red, and forming the bump.
Okay.
Iodine foods and spirulina, all of those different things.
Mhm.
The reason that they are written down as being potential triggers for acne is because if you have them in excess, the way that the body gets rid of them is that it will push, skin is an elimination
Right.
organ. So it
So
will
it's
push
pushed through
things
the
through
pore.
out the follicle
Sure.
and it can sometimes irritate the lining of the follicle wall, which will cause the breakout.
So
In some
that's
people,
acneic. Like,
yeah,
okay, so like
irritation.
spirulina,
Yeah.
high iodine foods, they are very
More of an
acneic,
acneic response,
not
like it irritates
comedogenic.
the follicle wall. Yeah. As is,
Huh.
like when you have um any sort of irritation, even not ingredients necessarily, but just from like friction, like your glasses, when you break out from your glasses,
Mhm.
that's an acneic response. Your skin is
Okay.
irritated
Yeah.
by the pressure of your glasses
Uh-huh.
and it spits out. It's really just your follicles are drama queens. They're
Yeah.
overreacting to everything. It's like
So
they're all
true.
Broadway stars and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. We need to like
yeah.
calm them down.
hmm Which is
That's so
why we do
interesting.
the red light therapy, the Belmondo mask, the
Mhm.
anti-inflammatories.
We have a lot of things
You're
to like bring
wanting
down the
to,
fire.
yeah, like if you think an acne prone person is someone who has, those car alarms that are overreactive that like
Mhm.
go off when the wind is too
Yeah.
high. Our follicles are like that.
Uh-huh.
They are just a highly acne prone
Okay.
person's follicles are like that. They will react to things that most people won't. And
Okay.
within our community, the acne prone community, there is a spectrum of how acneic a person is. This is what makes everything so difficult because
It's hard.
that is a big part of your journey.
Yeah.
You are highly acneic.
Yeah.
You know, anyone who at the end of summer is getting breakouts where their, sunglasses
Mhm.
sit, getting cysts where their AirPods are,
Mhm.
can't do a workout without breaking out, like just the everyday stuff irritates your
Mhm.
skin,
Mhm.
you're in the hard basket,
Yeah.
and then you have people that are kind of low to medium acneic or acne prone. And those are the people, the people that come into Pacific Touch that kind of clean up their makeup, have a couple of facials,
Mhm.
and they're significantly better and on their way.
Yeah.
That they're in the not hard basket, but they're still
Right.
acne prone. Like they do
Yeah.
need to be careful.
Right. I mean, there's like a whole almost separate protocol for people like me who are
Yeah.
like incredibly
But
acneic,
that's why a
which,
customized treatment is
yep.
super important, and
Yeah.
why we have to comb through everything, because you on the surface, you wouldn't even like, you're, so invested in your health, and your
Hmm.
diet is pristine, and I know that you have a lot of responsibility in your job, but I wouldn't characterize you as a highly stressed
Yeah. I don't
person
have a high stress
outwardly,
job.
outwardly,
Yeah.
but you actually are.
Yeah.
Like, your cortisol pings on tests,
Yes. Yeah.
you know? So that's why things like the comedogenic scale are important, because it helps us clear the canvas of things that we can control, because there's
Right.
some stuff we can't control
Hmm.
easily,
Hmm.
and that will take time. So why not take out the obvious stuff that has a high chance of contributing? Like, it's not causing the acne, it's contributing.
Okay. So let's talk about navigating pore clogging ingredients as an acne prone person, because back to my original point, it's tough. It's tough out
Mhm.
here, especially like obviously in an ideal world, we want to have the clear skin. We want to be able to like not wear a drop of makeup and just like have our SPF and be done. But
Yeah.
like to be realistic, we also want to cover the blemishes that we have or like whatever
Or
we're going
even
through,
just
you know?
use makeup. Like, I
Yeah, or
mean,
even like I don't know. I always just like have a little bit of a pep in my step when I have a full beat glam, you know? Like I
yeah,
love it.
I say to, my goal with working with people is to have them wear makeup because they want to, not because they
Mhm.
feel they have to. Because
Yeah.
I actually, like, I get bored with my face. Like, I enjoy
Yeah.
getting my lashes done, my
Uh-huh.
eyebrows done, or, I can't do makeup. But if I, put on a bit of lippy or whatever, I'm like, oh, I feel a little different. Like, it's
Yeah.
not, I have nothing against makeup whatsoever. And I
Right.
want people to wear it. I just don't want it to get in the way of their journey.
Mhm.
I am aware, though, that society, like, we are very much parallel to the fitness industry, in the
Mhm.
sense that there's a lot of confusing, conflicting information.
Sure.
And there's also um, more than one way to do this.
Yep.
So even I would go as far as to say it's not just the conflicting information, it's also there's different schools of thought of how you need to get to certain places. And so that can make it super confusing for people.
Yeah.
And we don't agree on what is comedogenic,
Yeah.
what isn't
That's hard.
comedogenic. We
Mhm.
have different standards,
Mhm.
or even down to silly little things. Like, we ran into this when we put our ingredient checker up first, is, depending on the coding of your ingredient checker, it doesn't always pick up everything. There's a little bit of fault
Right.
sometimes
Yeah.
in the ingredient
Oh,
checkers,
I
and
know. That thing gave me
it's
such a
there's a
pain.
whole lot of palaver
Yep.
mixed with the fact that comedogenic is not even a regulated term.
Yep.
So,
And back to our original point, the scale is it's not a perfect science.
it's
The
not a
scale's
perfect
dated.
science.
Yep.
It's flawed. I do have to say that quality of
Mhm.
formulation also needs to be a
Mhm.
conversation.
Mhm.
Like, sometimes, an ingredient in a well formulated product at a very low percentage isn't a problem.
Mhm.
Sometimes it is a problematic formulation that
Mhm.
makes something, inflammatory. So there's all sorts of problems. But what I would say, getting back to your original question, is that, and it's what I say in response to most things, is you have to find your people, the
Yeah.
people you trust,
Mhm.
and just invest in doing the work with your team collaboratively
Mhm.
to work out what is enough for you,
Mhm.
right? Because, you know, we have things on our ingredient list that are not on other ingredient lists.
Mhm.
Um, I got my ingredient list from mentors in the acne healing community, like educators
Mhm.
that I
Yeah, we're
trust.
we ours is primarily from Rococo, which is the brand that we
Jacene,
carry. Yeah.
yeah. So the formulator of Rococo is an acne educator in the aesthetics
Mhm.
industry. She travels the world and does acne courses, and she's definitely someone that I hold in esteem in terms of her education around comedogenicity and just acne in general, really.
Mhm.
A lot of what I've learned started with that course. I've done others since, and a lot of the information is very similar. Like I travel in, a certain sector of the acne healing community that's quite strict.
Mhm.
So we do have things that other lists don't. And the reverse is true. There are some things that we use that other people will say is problematic. But what I will say to that is, I have a close relationship with the formulators of my
Mhm.
products,
Mhm.
and anything that I've ever had a question about, I've always received like scientific data. Like I roll with nerds. Like I
Yes,
am not a
yeah.
nerd. I
Yeah.
surround myself with nerds
Yeah.
and like a sponge get everything from them.
Mhm.
So everything that we carry or we teach is backed up by,
Lots
credible
of research.
research
Yep.
and education.
Mhm.
Um, there is a lot of fear mongering and misinformation out there, which I'm sure we'll touch on.
Mhm.
But that's why I kind of feel I really am a firm believer, and by this I don't mean it doesn't have to be Pacific Touch. Not everybody is going to be for us,
Mhm.
but you really have to choose a team and stick with it,
Mhm.
because otherwise, if you are,
So confusing.
oh, it's too confusing. It's
Yeah.
like going to a trainer who believes in paleo, but then your best friend is vegan,
Mhm.
and then someone else is, your other bestie who's lost 50 pounds is done intermittent fasting, and
Mhm.
someone else is on Ozempic and said
Right.
it's the best thing she's ever done.
Right.
it, it's kind of the same thing. If you
Mhm.
have too many messages and too many different things coming into your head, it's like going on social media to try and cure your skin.
Yeah.
You in one thread. I mean, I can barely deal with, sometimes I'll get tagged in videos of people struggling with their skin, and I'll just dive a little bit into the comment section, and there'll be like 200 different
Oh my God, it
suggestions of
can't
different
even get
things.
started. Yeah. The second you like say something about your skin, it's like, have you tried like this? Have you tried this? Have you tried this? Have you tried Accutane? Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
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 So I think to your point, just
Find your people.
find the people that really resonate with you in terms
Yeah.
of the healing. Like, and I think that that's what, I mean, this is like a little bit of a tangent, but that's just what allows you to like get through the journey in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
think that for me personally, I know that my journey has had ebb and flows,
Mhm.
and it's been long, but like I trust you and I
Mhm.
trust the method, and I, you know, go back to that every time whenever I'm like, "Oh my gosh," like seeing all these different opinions and all
Yeah.
these different things. It really is like, okay, but I have like a team behind me and I'm going with that, and I trust that it'll be all worth it in the end, you know?
I just recently, one of my clients has had a crazy transformation.
Mhm.
We'll definitely be sharing her story soon. And I did say to her, I was like, you went through a really long purge that was really
Mhm.
jarring, and I
Mhm.
know you struggled. Like, what kept you going, And she just said that she kept saying to herself, okay, one more month and we'll see. And she just kept recommitting
Yep.
every month.
Mhm.
Like she did have those conversations
Mhm.
about, like, can I do
Yep.
this?
Mhm.
But to her credit, she did do everything. And that's
Mhm.
what you're saying, and
Mhm.
I see this in the treatment room all the time. I think everybody struggles in the acne healing journey. It's not easy.
Mhm.
And it's hard to, right from the start, like let's, with checking all of your skincare,
Mhm.
all of your hair care,
Mhm.
all of your makeup. I mean, it's a huge commitment.
Yeah.
But I have not had a client who hasn't reported back to me and at least noticed a little bit of an improvement, or a moderate, to great improvement, just from being more conscious
Right,
of
yeah,
that.
I'm sure, like, you've seen, the first time they come to see you, and then maybe the second time, and then buy that like second or third or whatever
Mm-hmm.
after they've done all that homework and like cleared the pore clogging, like I'm
Yeah.
sure you've noticed like, oh wow, like things really have changed.
Yeah.
So
Not only does it change in that way, but the funny thing is that a lot of people, once they get clear, because that achievement to them is so priceless,
mhm,
they end up not really caring that much about all of the skincare and products they used to have, and will
mhm.
actually say, I'm actually happy that I don't spend all my time in Sephora anymore, or
Yeah.
I'm not even remotely interested in
Right.
what, my favorite influencers are using or wearing, because I just know what
It's
works
like
for me and I'm not going to like
right. You
move
can
from
really
it,
cloud out the noise.
and it, yeah,
Totally.
and it
Totally.
simplifies things
Yeah.
completely.
Another thing that we have talked about just amongst our team is when products are labeled as clean
Mm.
and they're not necessarily just because a product is clean doesn't mean it's acne friendly. Could you like speak on that and why that might be?
So, I mean, first of all, clean is like a very subjective word. And
Mhm.
I think it's a great marketing buzzword because it preys into people's, it's kind of like, I mean, I subconsciously sometimes use it too. It's like clean eating, clean
Mhm.
lifestyle, clean skincare, and there is a lot of fear mongering that goes into kind of other different ingredients that not everything is backed up with solid, credible science as to
Mhm.
why we should be afraid of certain things. But I do see, like, when I look at a person's journey, if someone has chronic acne, by the time they're in their late 20s, they're getting more interested in their health and why their skin isn't clearing.
Yeah.
And so they will start to look at things like diet, lifestyle, routine, and
Mhm.
invariably they will start to switch out products
Mhm.
and are more drawn to, they want simple.
Yeah.
They're tired of, and I think too, years and years and years of being on suppressants and heavy chemicals with questionable side effects
Mhm.
gets people worried.
Mhm.
And so they want to go clean
Mhm.
because it's almost like they want to repair damage that they feel has been done. So what can I go to the simplest thing?
Yeah.
This is why beef tallow or coconut oil or all of
Mhm.
these different things have their moment, because people are, their tank is empty. They
Mhm.
can't do it anymore.
Mhm.
And so they want the simplest answer and will just grab on to the hope that this is going to be the thing. And this idea that simple ingredients that you can find in your kitchen will be good for your skin is something that perseveres. But from like a purely comedogenic point of view, what it's not figuring into the equation is that clean ingredients can very easily be pore clogging.
Yeah.
A lot
I
of
mean,
oils,
coconut oil is a
butters.
great example, but
Yeah.
also can we just clear up like the beef towel conversation?
I mean, I would hope at this point that people know, like I've done a couple of posts and some responses to videos, but yeah, beef tallow is high when we're looking at a lot of like especially oils and things like that and
Mhm.
butters. We're looking at the fatty acid composition. So with acne, you're wanting to have things that are low in oleic acid and high in linoleic acid.
Mhm.
Really, with oleic acid, anything above sort of 25% can be problematic. And
Mhm.
beef tallow is high in oleic acid.
Okay.
But you can kind of tell by how solid it is at room temperature,
Yeah. It
you
kind of
know,
grosses me out
that
now
it's
that I like know more.
problematic.
Right.
Never mind the fact, like going off comedogenicity, um, its composition, it doesn't, for the skin to be happy, it has to have the right balance of water and oil. When people gravitate too much towards like solid butters or oils, they're not giving their skin any water. And so
Mm.
they will end up
I
clogged
was gonna say
and
that like
actually
suffocates.
dehydrated. Like there's
Yeah.
not enough water in the
Yeah.
skin.
Oh, so true.
Yeah. Which you then start to break out for a different reason.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm,
It's like a cycle almost.
totally.
Yeah. So, why don't you think dermatologists really like when you go to your dermatologist appointment, especially if you are for acne, and I think a lot of people do when they're first, experiencing breakouts, they don't always bring up like pore clogging ingredients. So why don't you think that they do that in their visits?
Because they're highly educated doctors that have spent years in medical school, but they are purely and utterly just looking at diagnosing disease
Mm-hmm.
and prescribing medications and topicals.
Mm-hmm.
They're not, I mean, for the same reason they don't ask about your stress,
Mm-hmm.
the towels at the gym, how much you work out, whether or not you sit and sweat, you
Mm-hmm.
know, all of those different
Every other factor. Yep.
multifactorial things.
Mm-hmm.
They will diagnose your skin with acne. They will put you on a regimen of medication and or topicals that will suppress the symptoms
Mm-hmm.
and deal with the disease
Mm-hmm.
of acne. Um, and really their only interest in skincare is more benign.
Yeah.
Like,
So they
I'm
don't
not
really need to
saying they don't
focus on the
promote
skincare.
heavily pore
Yeah.
clogging things, but they just want something like
Yeah.
super benign that really doesn't move the needle either way.
Right. It's
Doesn't
like
cause
CeraVe
damage,
and
but
Vanny Cream.
doesn't
Like that's the
totally.
routine. Yeah.
It's not going to do so much damage,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also not going to move the needle on its own,
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you went off those medications,
Right.
those products are not going to heal your skin when you get
Yeah.
rebound.
Right. It's kind of what we were talking about before,
Yeah.
that like if you have all of the suppressants, then like, yeah, your pore clogging ingredients, it doesn't matter because you have like the harsh topicals and everything. But then if you take those out of the equation, then yeah, the pore clogging ingredients is something to think about.
Yeah.
Totally. So, what is actually important in all of this versus what is fear mongering? We kind of touched on the fear mongering piece a bit before, but even in my personal experience, I think that's sometimes where I get really confused is because I'm like, it's when you get to those like different opinions and the nitpicking and
Mm,
like this has this pore clogger and this is like, I know that there's some people who like have whole lists that are like, these are good, stay away, these are bad because it has this. Like it can
yeah.
be such information overload when
Oh,
like at the end
totally.
of the day, you're like, I just want a concealer that'll be a good product but won't break me out, and like that's all I want.
Yeah.
Like where do you see in terms of navigating that and how we can kind of just like calm ourselves down
Yeah.
instead of getting sucked into the fear-mongering mindset?
So I'm happy with the pore clogging list that we rely on. I
Yeah.
think it's fairly solid,
Mhm.
and most of the main acne healing specialists use very similar lists. I don't think it's oh so
Yeah,
different.
they're pretty much the same.
So what I tell people in the beginning of your journey, like give yourself a year of being super strict
Mhm.
and just take the time, like start off with the things that you're wearing every day,
Mhm.
and and including hair, and go through all of those. I mean, we've tried over the years, we've really put in so many different things to make it easier. I mean, when you first ever came to me before Pacific Touch became what it was, like you had to hand
Yeah, you had to
check
go through
everything.
everything. It's so true.
And
Yeah.
I actually used to do, I mean, this is how crazy, like right in the
Yep.
beginning stages, I
Mhm.
would even do it for clients because I
Mhm.
wasn't that busy and I could do it, but like hand check
Yeah,
everything.
that's so time consuming.
But now, we have the ingredient checker on our
Mhm.
website, and we even have for clients and have for sale the acne friendly product book
Mhm.
just to take the overwhelm out,
Right, yeah.
like obviously if you're married to certain things that you absolutely love, really be careful and check it all, especially if you're getting breakouts where blush sits
Mhm. Right.
or in specific areas where you're like, you know what, that is actually exactly where I
Yeah.
put
Right. I
XYZ.
remember I was using like the Fenty Beauty like bronzer stick, and I was getting literally like this was like
Exactly.
I think even when I was a client, I wasn't working here yet, and was getting like the Contour
Exact.
3 or
Mhm.
whatever, and I looked and it had like coconut oil in it. I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, that's why I'm breaking
Hair
out."
products, same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like the things that you're wearing every day. And I mean, I ideally, especially for my complex cases, I want you to be as strict as possible. But if you don't have the energy for that, at the very least, you need to make sure that things are not between a 3 and 5.
Okay.
Because sometimes if you have something that's a 2
Mm-hmm.
and it's,
In
not too,
terms of the scale.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the scale. And if it's not too high on the, like in an ingredient deck, when an ingredient, where it is on
That's
the
like
list
where it's majority
is the
of. Yep.
strength.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if it's like second ingredient on the list and it's a 4, that's going to be a problematic
Yeah.
product for an acne prone
Right.
person. Um, if a product has a 2 and it's low, and it's still a gamble. I still have to say this, but the likelihood is considerably less.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's only like one ingredient or something. But
Mm-hmm.
if you have a product that has 6 or 7 twos in it,
Mm-hmm.
and some of
It's
them
like
are
that's
high
like
up,
compiling.
then
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
compiling the
Right.
issue.
Yeah. So actually a good point to track like what the scale is, I guess, is obviously using our ingredient checker and on our website, but also cause DNA
Yeah.
is a good one
Yeah.
because you can go, what it'll do is I think you go to like analyze cosmetics or something or ingredient lists
Mm-hmm.
and you put in the ingredient list and then it goes each product and it'll give you the scale, like
Yeah.
where it's at.
Yeah. You
So
could
I feel
also
like I
just
found that.
Google, like
Yeah.
most of them have, there's the Inky Dakota. There's a couple of
Hmm.
websites that do it, but even if you were kind of like, what is the comedogenic rating of,
X ingredient. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets a little problematic is, and this is why you have to choose your team and decide, whether or not you ascribe to this. But like a lot of the newer information leans more heavily on what I was just telling you about the fatty acid
Hmm.
composition, which is, how much oleic acid versus linoleic acid something has. So there are some ingredients, like shea butter is one,
Hmm.
that in the old fashioned way is a 0, but we consider it problematic because it's high in oleic.
Mm. Yeah.
So, these are only things that's why, I mean, I know obviously I am one, so I believe this, but I really do believe if you have a chronic skin condition, you have to see someone that specializes in that,
Yeah. Hmm.
because we live and breathe. It's all we do,
Hmm. Yeah. No, it's so
and
true.
it's all we educate ourselves on.
Yeah.
Like, I am not reading beauty magazines, looking at the latest eyebrow, utensils to, like, I go to a professional and get my eyebrows done.
Yeah. Right.
When I go and get my hair cut, I go to a curly headed
Hmm.
specialist.
Yeah.
I'm only ever reading acne information. I
Hmm.
mean, look at all of us together when at our team
I
meetings. I
know.
mean,
It's
it's
so
just a
true.
bunch of acne healing geeks.
Yeah. I mean, I think that that is just almost the moral of the conversation is there is a lot of, you know, there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of
Yeah.
things to consider. There's a lot of products. There's a lot of different ingredients. There's a lot of different schools of thought. So I think to your point, like choosing the people that you trust and in terms of clearing your skin and a lot and something that aligns with your philosophy of how you
Hmm.
want to clear your skin and just going with that and trusting them and
Yeah.
making it like a collaborative effort. And I think
Because you
that
will be
that is
able
huge.
to discount, like, I've been in this long enough now to know, and this applies to everything, but it definitely applies to acne healing. For everything that I say, there will be someone that will be able to give you a valid
Oh my God,
argument
totally.
for
Especially now.
why you should do it differently.
Right.
So you
Hmm.
waste time and energy if you've just got to
Right.
find and focus,
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know?
we're all just trying to achieve skin freedom, okay? Like that's just the moral
Exactly.
of the story.
Exactly.
Well, I thought we would end off by just like rattling a few of your favorite acne safe products in our routines, specifically, I suppose, makeup, even though like I feel
God,
like
that would be so more you than me.
I
I
know.
don't
I
even
mean, listen, I'm still trying to figure out like what works. I don't do a full face of makeup every day, so it's usually like maybe once a week. Some of my favorites that I really have been loving, the Ciel brand.
Mhm.
I do use their concealer. There is the tocopherol in it, which I know that that's like a hot button topic of like, okay, is it,
Can
you
we
know,
talk about it just so it's on record?
yeah,
So,
quick.
so tocopherol is a vitamin E, and depending on where it's sourced from, if it's sourced from soy, it's going to be an issue. It can be sourced from sunflower or soy. The problem is that not all companies know that
Hmm.
information. So it's not that it will always be problematic, and it's very common ingredient. That's
Hmm.
why it can drive you crazy, because it's a
Yeah,
preservative. The
right.
vitamin E, when it's right at the bottom,
Yep.
is used as the preservative.
Hmm.
Tocopherol acetate is fine.
Hmm.
Sometimes you have luck and a company will be able to tell you that it's, like sunflower derived,
Right. Yeah.
whatever. But that's why it can be an
Yeah.
issue.
No, I know. So that's kind of tocopherol has just been like the bane of my existence
I
in
know
terms of
you
this
don't
search.
like this one, but for people that are like super, super wanting to be really strict, the Lily Lolo
Well, I was about to
makeup
say that the Lily
is
Lolo mineral concealer, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's definitely not my favorite, but um I just don't think it sit throughout the day. I
I
notice
know.
it cakes and it just does not sit well. So I don't, if you're going through for like a good makeup look, it's not my fave. But that said, when I'm just doing like the Tiso SPF and just want to like, calm down the redness of some breakouts, it actually, for a daily, like, a morning thing
Yeah.
or just going to the office or something like that, it really does do the job. It does it better than even I thought. And if I'm saying that, you guys, like, it's fine. Um,
I mean,
so
that
yeah.
is really, I think that's, how I was saying to you that one of the things that you have to accept when you're in the first phase of your acne healing journey is things aren't going to be exactly the way
Hmm.
you want them to be.
Yeah.
For makeup to be not pore clogging, it's not going to have the silky, filmy,
Right.
like the things
You
that
gotta like,
make, when I see the ASMR on social media
uh-huh.
and people gooping things all over their faces, I know the minute I visually see certain things, I'm like, oh, damn,
Yeah.
that is so pore clogging. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
And so trying to find, like, you will not find acne friendly foundations and powders
Hmm.
are just like that,
Maybe one day we'll
unfortunately.
just have to figure out how
Unfortunately.
we can formulate our own. But, until then, we're gonna try
I
to
mean,
find the best
exactly.
products.
It'll
Yeah.
change,
Yeah. No, it'll change and we'll see. Um, well, this was such a great conversation. I will do maybe even a roundup of a few of my other current favorites so that you guys can at least like do your own research of what you like. And if anybody else has products that they've been really loving that like, pass a lot of tests, please, please, please let me know. I'm always trying to find like the next products. But thank you so much, Nick. This was like so incredibly insightful. I feel like we really were just segueing one thing to the next and it was just
I mean, to
perfect.
your point, it's definitely a conversation that comes up a
It's a hot
lot.
button topic, like I
Yeah.
said in the beginning. So, thank you all so much for listening to Skin Talk Tuesday podcast. Please follow us on Instagram, Skin Talk Tuesday podcast, and then obviously, of course, Pacific Touch NYC. If you have any questions or anything that you want us to chat about for future episodes, please let us know. We're always looking, to see what you guys want to hear from. So, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.